I should have.
Welcome back to CTV Morning Live. We're just chatting over here. Joel, we have a lot of questions to get to, and they've been some great questions over the commercial break, so we're going to get to them right away. The first one, I know a lot of people are going through this with student loans, and so I believe that came in, is it via email? For a question about student loans. Oh, they're on the phone. That's good to know. Okay, good morning.
Good morning.
Morning.
All right, so what was your question about the student loans?
Good morning. My name is Carol. I'm from Barhaven. And I was just wondering about student loans.
Great question. And we're wondering about paying back student loans?
They don't accept, they set an amount, but they won't accept a lesser amount.
Okay. Call the National Student Loan Center, and they have repayment options depending on where you're at. So if you're falling behind on your student loans, and that's a whole other thing. But if you're up to date and you're trying to keep up, they have different programs one's called interest relief, where they can freeze the interest and you don't have to make payments for a little while. So you can look into that. They have revision of terms, which they can stretch the time that it takes you to pay off your student loan from 9.5 years to 14.5 years. So it tends to reduce your payment by about 25%. They have forgiveness programs. So my suggestion would be to call the National Student Loan Center and ask them what their payment options are with student loans.
Because they're going to want to take something rather than nothing at this point, right?
Sure, absolutely. But if you don't stay within the terms, then you'll start to default on your loan. Once you default on your loan, it could go off to a collection agency, and then you have all those other issues coming up. So you want to make sure you're on top of it. Make sure that you follow it up. When you call the National Student Loan Center, if they're saying, listen, we're going to send you some paperwork, you make sure that you get the paperwork, follow it up. If you fill it in, send it, call, make sure, okay? Things tend to get lost. Yes.
Okay. We do have another caller that we want to get to, and they're on the phone right now. Good morning.
Morning.
Good morning.
Oh, is this Lise?
Yes, it is.
Okay, good morning, Lise. What's your question?
What I'd like to know is it better in my interest to declare bankruptcy or to try and convince the credit card companies to drop their rate?
That's an excellent question, and you're a perfect client in a sense where you're not really sure what your options are. Bankruptcy is something that I don't take very lightly. Going bankrupt, there's a lot of other issues. It could be very expensive. You may not be insolvent. Hard to say what your real options are without really having an in-depth conversation about what your situation is. So my suggestion would be to call, and we can look at an assessment really quickly just over the phone. I do have people that are waiting and can take your call right now. So that would be a good thing. Declaring bankruptcy, like I said, I don't take it lightly. There might be other options for you as far as going on a debt repayment program, which we offer. We can get the interest stopped. We can get them to accept smaller payments so that you can pay off your debt, and then we can rebuild your credit afterwards. So those are things that we really need to look at.
Definitely options. The best thing, though, is that you have the information available to help people get on the right path. And even if people don't find themselves in these situations, and I was just talking to you, take the time, if you have a Sunday morning, and just figure out exactly where you're at, with your assets and with your debt, and actually, really
Well, that online assessment is a really good tool because, like we were mentioning, how much you spend on groceries and how much gas you put in your vehicle. I mean, we kind of all know how much our rent or mortgage payments are, or our bills, our insurance, but even then, there's a lot of people that say, I don't know how much my insurance is, and they're digging it up on their phone.
How much money we owe still on this.
On our credit card. So it's a really good way to get a good picture of where you're at, and then you hit send, and it'll go right to a counselor who's going to reply and say, here's my initial thoughts. So you can start a dialogue that way. There's no fee, there's no obligation, there's nothing to lose.
Absolutely.
So that's a good way to do it.
Some great information. Joel, it was a pleasure to have you on this show.
Leanne, it was great.
And of course, the information listed right there as to how you can contact them and get yourself started. So I like to say today's the day, but if you're sitting at home and you're feeling a little bit of that sense of panic, today might be the day you sit back and you figure out, I'm going to get on top of things right now and check in and ask the questions. We do have to take a short commercial break. We have some music coming your way on CTV Morning Live, so stay with us. We're back after this.